This is K9WLW with another video. Today I'm actually going to probably end up doing two videos due to the complexity of the material covered. Today I'm attempting to cover how to cross mode from a C4FM radio over to the other digital networks with the Openspot3. Ran into a few complexities, and I don't know that I can squeeze all of this into one video. Okay, I'm going to start off with a Yaesu FT2D on my Openspot3, and I'm going to show you a little bit how the Wires-X feature works with YSF and FCS reflectors. Right now I'm connected to FCS reflector 00358, which is an FCS reflector in the C4FM world for Alabama Link. And the Wires-X feature, you can turn it on and off. Pressing and holding the X gets it back into normal mode. A quick tap of the X and it addresses your open spot. It'll show you what you're connected to. It says FCS 00358. I can search for other reflectors either by a search all, or I can search by name. Now, since I'm in the FCS connector, I can only search FCS reflectors by name or by number. So let's say I wanted to find an FCS reflector with the name Ohio in it. I would, I'm in FCS, so I would just type MNOGH, and then I have to move over one, or back one, I'm sorry. This is very hard to do. Not the easiest of systems to use.
Good afternoon.
Okay, MNOGH. Now, because H and I are on the same key, I have to hit the arrow to go 1, and then GHI. It's a little convoluted, but you'll get the hang of it. So I typed in the word Ohio and I hit enter.
Very good. I didn't know if this thing was playing or not. I haven't been on
Unfortunately, I can't search when there's a QSO going.
Just sitting around here and heard you tell you call out.
Sorry about the delay.
I heard somebody, so you know it's been pretty quiet on here today.
Now I hit the enter key, and it'll search for anything with Ohio.
Sounds good. Well,
so I've got FCS 235 and FCS 335. So this is a way where I can just connect directly there. Again, I got to wait for the traffic to pause.
It's showing you about 560 miles away from me.
So there I'm trying to connect.
Openspot connected to FCS 235.
So that's a way you can maneuver around the FCS reflectors. Now here's a neat little transition over to the YSF. If I go to the search, I've stored some FCS and YSF over here. So I'm going to tap on that. And I've got America Link. Well, here's Ohio Link on YSF reflector. I'll tap on that.
Openspot connected to YSF reflector 40557.
Okay, so now I'm connected to Ohio Link, which is YSF. So you see how I made the transition pretty easily from FCS to YSF with that feature? Now that I'm in YSF, if I do any search by name, it'll only look in YSF connector reflectors. But you kind of get the hang of it. It's a little strange getting used to it. Well, after doing some further experimentation, I determined that we can use this Wires-X feature to cross-mode over to the P25 network and also the NXDN network. It did not work very well for D-Star and DMR. I've tried it repeatedly, and at least as the OpenSpot is currently configured, it doesn't seem to want to transition there smoothly from the radio. So you'll have to use a hotspot to do that, and I'll deal with that in a second video. So in this video, I'm going to focus on transitioning from FCS to YSF to P25 to NXDN, all from the C4FM radio, all with the Wires-X button. Okay, now let's say I want to go to P25 or NXDN. I did store some NXDN reflectors earlier today, and I'm going to search for the ones that I stored. There's two that I've stored. There's Alabama Link and a Florida NXDN 1200. So let's connect to 1200. Now remember, I'm in YSF Ohio Link right now.
Openspot connected to NXDN reflector 1200.
Okay, so you heard me connect to NXDN reflector, so I immediately transitioned from YSF reflector to NXDN. Now, cool thing here. Now that I'm on the NXDN connector, I can search. Actually, let's search all. You can actually search all of the NXDN reflectors. Okay, I have to go past these 5. These are the 5 profiles. I forgot to delete those. But it starts down here with 10200 North America and so forth. And it says there's about 88 of them. And it holds about 20 or so per page. So when you run out, you scroll down. And it gives you other NXDN reflectors that you might want to connect to. So I will see if anything looks interesting here at all. There's not a lot of activity in NXDN that I found. I'm going to try this NXDN Scotland. It may work, it may not. We'll find out quickly. Let me try it with my thumb. It's trying to...
Openspot connected to NXDN reflector 23551.
Okay, so now it transitioned. It'll either connect right away or it'll say trying to connect to server if the reflector is not functioning or operational. So it's definitely working and connecting pretty easily to NXDN. Okay, now there is a little quirk about NXDN that you need to be aware of with the Openspot. Anytime you change NXDN reflectors and connect to a new one and then refresh your connectors page, you got to refresh the browser, you're going to get this little warning sign. Warning, the quotation marks, open quote, always use default cross mode destination ID, end quote setting is enabled, and the default cross mode destination ID is different than the server's talk group ID of 23551. You can disable or change these settings on the settings page, NXDN settings section, or click here. Okay, the problem is it's set for another talk group on the NXDN settings page. So if I want to change that, the quick way to do it is to click here, which I just did, and then you hit change.
Openspot connected to NXDN reflector 23551.
Okay, so there it has connected to it again. And now the brown warning is gone. When the brown warning pops up, if you try and transmit, no one will hear you on the NXDN reflector. So you have to tap that. A little quirk about the NXDN network. I'm still trying to figure out if there's a way on the settings page, NXDN, to not have to do that extra step, because that does seem kind of annoying. Now bear in mind, I shouldn't complain. It is nice and it does work once you get through the annoying parts of it. Let me scroll down to NXDN settings. Here we go. It's this little guy right here. Always use this ID in cross mode. Now that I'm in NXDN talk group 23551, it has this little check mark, and now the default cross mode is 23551. So if I try and connect to another talk group, I can hear, but I can't transmit unless I hit that little thing that I showed on the earlier screen. I'm going to try and see if eliminating this check mark and hitting save.
Openspot connected to NXDN reflector 23551.
Okay, I turned the check mark off and hit save. Maybe that will make it so it'll work. What I'm going to do on the radio now is I'm going to try to connect to NXDN Alabama link and see if anyone can hear me. So I'm going to go into NXDN Alabama link and see if I'm heard.
Openspot connected to NXDN reflector 31010.
Okay, I'm connected. Let me see if anyone can hear me. See? Even with the checkbox off, it's giving me the brown warning again because I'm no longer in 23551. So if I transmit, no one in this talk group is going to hear me. Unfortunately, I don't know why they have that feature on there. It would be nice if you didn't have to do this. So now you have to hit the click here, then the change, reconnect.
Openspot connected to NXDN reflector 31010.
I'm refreshing the screen. Well, now at least it's the talk group that I want to be in, but you still get the warning. So getting rid of the check mark always gives you the warning. So unfortunately, I don't seem to see another way around this other than to click here and hit change.
Openspot connected to NXDN reflector 31010.
All right, let me refresh and see if that got rid of it, because I think that automatically puts the check mark there. So I'm refreshing the screen. Yep, the warning is gone. So now it'll work. K9WLW. Let me see if anyone hears me. K9WLW for a radio check.
Frank, you're loud and clear. This is N5 OVP.
Okay, N5OVP, thank you very much. Just want to make sure I'm making it into the NXDN network, doing the video as we speak from the NXDN reflector. Appreciate the confirmation. 73s, K9WLW clear. Okay, I made it into the network, but it's a little weird.
73s, N5 OVP clear.
Okay, so NXDN reflectors work in the cross mode with a strange quirk. You can search for them, But every time you connect, you got to hit the little brown warning, and then it reconnects, and then you're good to go and you're heard. Kind of quirky, but it works. And you can search for NXDN reflectors, and you can save them as favorites in the radio. Okay, the other cross mode we're going to try today is the P25. Okay, P25. I've stored a couple of P25 reflectors. Let me see what I have in here. I've got Colorado HD and Alabama Link. So I'm going to connect to Colorado HD.
Openspot connected to P25 reflector 31088.
Okay, I made it over to P25, so it transitions smoothly from YSF to FCS to P25 to NXDN. So you can go network to network with the stored talk groups and rooms and so forth in the Wires-X menu, which is kind of nice. NXDN's a little weird. Got to hit that extra screen to get it so that your traffic will be heard. Now we're going to get into the quirkiness of P25. P25 is the only mode that only C4FM can cross mode to. If you have a D-Star radio or a DMR radio or an NXDN radio for that matter, with Openspot3, you cannot cross mode to P25. It's not even an option. However, if you're going into the Openspot with a C4FM radio, it does open up the P25 reflector list. Okay. I'll get into the quirkiness of it. Now again, now that I'm in that connector, I can search all. Again, these are my 5 profiles at the top, and then further down is a list of all the P25 reflectors. And there's about 101 according to what it says, and it holds about 20 on each page, and then you got to hit the down arrow and so forth. Or you can search with the alphabetical search. Again, once you're in that connector. Okay. Now I'll head back. Now I'm going to transition over to another P25 reflector. And here's Alabama Link.
Openspot connected to P25 reflector 31010.
Okay, so I am connected. Now, this is where the P25 network throws a curveball at you. Not quite as strange as the NXDN Quirk, but it is equally important. You can see that I have the radio in digital narrow mode. If I key up on this reflector in digital narrow, I'll be broadcast over the network and my call sign will show to those stations monitoring it. However, they won't hear my audio. So in order to go, I have to switch into voice-wide mode. Some C4FM radios don't have a voice-wide mode. If you have an FT70 or an FT3D, you actually have to go into a menu inside your radio to activate the voice-wide option. I don't know why they have to be activated. If you normally go through the modes on an FT3, it'll start out in, say, FM, then it'll go to that automatic mode select, digital narrow, and then it'll jump back to FM. However, if you go into the FT70 or the FT3D's menu, you'll find an option to activate or allow the VW mode to operate. The VW mode, the voice-wide mode, is the only mode that you can use to talk on the P25 network. It's the only way you'll be heard. So, I am going to key up in voice-wide. Now bear in mind, whenever you do this with the Wires-X button, it automatically throws you back into DN, so you have to be mindful of that. Even when you go out, it's thrown me back. I'm still in DN. Now no one will hear me, so I got to remember and make sure my mode is VW. Okay, I'm going to try a call again, an Alabama link in voice wide. This is K9WLW testing from the P25 reflector via C4FM radio. This is K9WLW testing the P25 reflector from a C4FM radio. Anybody copy? Alright, the transcode in Alabama link from DMR over to P25 is really loud. That happens sometimes, but it does work. Okay, yeah, I'm getting a lot of overmodulation on the receive end from the P25 reflector, but I appreciate your shouting back. I definitely heard you and got your call sign. So this is me checking out the P25 connection to Alabama link through the Yaesu FT2D. I appreciate the shout, and I will continue and wrap up the video. 73s. Okay. Yeah, that modulation, so that... Okay. Anyway, yeah, that's a bad link on Alabama link to P25. However, that is not normal. Anyway, that is going to wrap it up for this video because the D-Star and the DMR... I was hoping that we could use the Wires-X feature to connect to those networks. I even loaded a couple D-Star reflectors and a couple DMR networks up here. For reasons I have not understood, when I tap on them, it says no matches. It doesn't seem to recognize them. When I tap on the DMR, because I put in TGIF and I put in Brandmeister 3102, I get the no matches. So again, it's quirky. Maybe they have some work to do on this. I don't know if they will or not. Again, YSF and FCS connectors. No problem. It pulls them right up. I can connect to an FCS reflector. Try it again.
Openspot connected to XCS3 through 58.
Okay, one other cool thing about the Wires-X feature. One thing that has driven me crazy, if you get jammed up in a busy talk group, you have to wait for a break in the action in order to move on and search, and that takes several steps, and someone else can key up, and then you're kind of trapped in the menu and you can't get out. The Openspot has supported, or is now supporting, an escape hatch with the C4FM radio. Let's say that this traffic was just going on in this room. The band button on the FT2D, I don't know how that would equate on an FTM 400 or 300 or other mobile radios. Pressing and while the Wires-X mode is on, which you can see here by the screen, if you press and hold the band button for a couple seconds, it sends a little transmission.
Openspot special connector active.
It says Openspot special connector active, so it goes into the null connector, which is kind of an escape hatch from any active talk room on Fusion or on NXDN or P25. It works. Or D-Star or DMR for that matter. Well, I haven't tried it with DMR yet. I'll have to try that in the next video, but I believe it works in D-Star as well, and I'll show how it goes in the next video. Unfortunately, I cannot search for reflectors or for Brandmeister servers or anything with the Wires-X button. I've tried it every way to Tuesday, and I just couldn't get it to work. Which is why I'm going to go to another video to kind of demonstrate how this works in cross mode to DMR and cross mode to D-Star. So again, I'm not as excited about this as I am about the DMR functionality of cross moding. Yeah, you get one more mode, P25, not a really busy mode. So I guess that's kind of cool. You get some functionality with the Wires-X if you have that on your radio. And it will cross mode to DMR and to D-Star. It's just the Wires-X button doesn't seem to be very helpful in accessing those networks. I wish it did. But nonetheless, I'll use that show you that in another video. That's going to wrap it up for this video. I hope that helps some people figure out some of the cross mode features, particularly to the P25 and NXDN networks, and also how to navigate inside the Fusion networks. The Wires-X feature does have some coolness to it. Anyway, 73s for now from K9WLW.